Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we actually have to talk about the Israeli/Palestinian conflict that very few people are talking about, and that is information warfare online. Now here's what's going on, and before I dive in, I just want to say, obviously, I'm not a fan of conflict, as I think most people on the planet are, and I'm horrified that obviously these two groups, who have had years, or I should rather say decades, of conflict between them, obviously have escalated fighting in the past week or so. This is not designed to take sides any which way, shape, or form. I'm simply here to basically lay out the facts, so if you're pro or con any one of these sides, or whatever you are, that's totally cool by me, but please do not fill up my comments section with pro-Israel or pro-Palestine or anti-Israel or anti-Palestine talk here. That's not what we are talking about here. We are talking about the facts on the ground and what's going on, and this is coming from Cyberscoop, because today Facebook has stood up a 24-hour operations center essentially to address the disinformation and misinformation over this particular conflict that is spreading on its platform. Obviously, Facebook is very popular in the region, and here we go. In recent days, both misinformation and disinformation have tainted the discourse around the violence that is occurring between Israel and the Palestinians. Now, literally lies about the conflict have spread online that include misinformation about Israel planning a ground invasion in the Gaza Strip, when Israel was in fact not planning to attack the Gaza Strip via a ground invasion. Interestingly enough, Israel itself was the one that spread that false narrative deliberately to essentially trick the other side, in this case Hamas, according to Israeli news outlets. Other information has included video footage that purported to depict Palestinian militants launching rocket attacks at Israelis. That video, interestingly enough, was identified from a 2018 battle that took place in Syria or possibly Libya, not in Israel. So, Facebook basically stood up a 24-hour operations center that is staffed by both Hebrew and Arabic speakers, so that content moderation decisions about misinformation related to the violence could be essentially informed by the trends on the ground, and that is according to Facebook's Vice President for Content Policy, Monica Bickert. Now, Facebook previously did not return requests for comment basically from the New York Times regarding a story they had about misinformation spreading rapidly on its platform over this conflict. A person for WhatsApp, though, told the New York Times that the application had put a limit on how many times someone could forward messages as a way to try and prevent misinformation from spreading. The news that Facebook has a misinformation operations center dedicated to this ongoing conflict comes as some U.S. lawmakers have called for a ceasefire between Israel and the Palestinians. But the carnage shows no signs of letting up soon. It seems to be escalating, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel said this past Wednesday, today, that Israel is, quote, determined to continue this operation until its aim is met. Now, President Biden told Prime Minister Netanyahu that he expected a, quote, significant de-escalation today on the path to a ceasefire, and that is according to releases from the White House. As of now, Facebook does not have an end date for when it will stand down this operation center as violence continues. And Facebook has been basically seeing misinformation and disinformation over this conflict spread. Either it's intentional misinformation put up by either the Israeli government or Hamas, basically to try to fake one of the other out, as they are actively monitoring each other's social media circles and all of that. This is also really exacerbating the conflict, because if one population or the other receives misinformation that, let's say, one side did a horrible thing and it's actually from 2018, then obviously that one side of that conflict is going to say, oh my God, we're under attack. These people are animals or monsters or whatever it is, and vice versa on the other side. Disinformation goes both ways, and neither one of these outfits are actually innocent of this, whether it's strategic for information warfare due to military operations on both sides, or if it's the population just getting false information. And then you've got foreign governments that could potentially sow the seeds of distrust supporting one side or the other by putting out false narrative. It's not coming from either one in the conflict to exacerbate the situation. The Russians, for example, have been known to do this, and I am not saying the Russians are doing this here, but it's something that I've been on the lookout for as we watch this. Obviously, the vast majority of the world wants this conflict to end. We want a peaceful resolution. We don't want to see people harmed. We want to see people live in harmony. And again, I'm not taking sides here. I don't care if you're pro or anti-Israel or Palestine or Hamas or whatever you are. These are simply the facts on the ground. This is what Facebook is seeing. This is what's being reported by third-party news sources outside of this, including Israeli news outlets just basically calling out their own government in this case. So obviously this is a huge, huge problem that we have to deal with. And again, I am not trying to debate this entire resolution. I am not going to sit here and create peace in the Middle East. I just simply want to make sure we have a peaceful resolution and everybody is cool. But again, I understand that this conflict is just goes way beyond the last week here. And so there's no easy answer. And that is your news of the day. And please make sure, if you are in the conflict zone and you happen to be watching this or listening to this, please make sure you stay safe. And I hope there's a peaceful resolution for you soon, whatever that is. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, everyone.